We ready? What up, world, and welcome to another episode of Beer Talk Now. I'm your host, D. Neal, and I'm on the live stream today. Yes, but today's episode is all about the Oak Park Brewing Company Jubilee, the Brew Your Story, and I got a lot of special guests with me in the building today. I mean, for real, it's crazy out here. I got Oak Park, I got Bruising with Brothers, I got Hella Coastal in the building. Got one of their brewers. Manny is ready for action. So, man, I'm about to introduce the team, get them on, and let's make it happen. So first, we're going to start off with Oak Park first. We got Jeff. What up, Jeff?
What's up? How are you?
And we got Raj. What's good with it, Raj?
What's up, man? Same old, same old.
Hey, man. All right. And wait, there's more. You know what I'm saying? We got to get it going. We got Bruising with Brothers. What's good with y'all?
What's happening?
What's good?
Man, you know I'm excited, man. Hey, man. And then we got Manny, one third of Hella Coastal in the building. I'm trying to get the rest of Hella Coastal. Hey, text Chaz and Mario, tell them we on, man. So let's get it going. And hopefully we get Mr. Mac Jr. himself in the building. So that'll be crazy. But first and foremost, since we doing this, you know, let me do some fancy stuff. Let me go right here. There we go. We fancy today. So I'm going to start it off. Definitely, as I always do. Man, I only got one beer today because I was going to buy a ton of beer at Oak Park, but I was like, man, Saturday we about to have a whole bunch of damn beer, so I can't make the fridge hella full. So, you know, I'm going to just start off with this good old Infinite Stout season, that Hella Coastal, you know, that Cellar Maker collaboration. You know what I mean? You see the Hella Coastal sign right there. 9% ABV. This is a good old spiced chocolate stout. So that's what I'm drinking on. I'm going to take my time. I'm gonna see if the team brought beer, because again, y'all know how I do when we get on Beer Talk Now. We like drinking beer. We're gonna start off with Jeff. Jeff shaking his head like he ain't got no beer, but Jeff, you got beer?
Man, I'm drinking some wine right now. I tried.
That's all right.
I know we had beer in the house, but I came home and it was all gone today. So, Mama drinking beer.
So. Mama, shout out to Becca. Becca, we should have got Becca on the show for real. All right, well, we're going to Raj. Raj, what you drinking?
Hey, man.
Yay!
I'm gonna try not to spill it, but that Oak Park Juneteenth Rondell.
Nice. Yeah. That looks nice right there. So we're gonna jump over to Bruising with Brothers. What y'all drinking on?
Yeah, so a couple of our own little creations right here. We got got our Amber Ale, our Frank number 6, and then
got the what is this? The Saison. We got the mango, pineapple, passion fruit Saison right here. So.
That look kind of nice right there. That look kind of nice on both of them. Manny, what the hell you doing? What you drinking on?
Hey, thankfully I'm right by my fridge, so I grabbed something. Got a Town Riders.
Town Riders, though. That's that Oakland Black Cowboy parade, the ghost riding the whip. Y'all know about it, man. If you're from the Bay, you know about the Black Cowboy parade, man. That's fire. So, man, I'm gonna get Jeff on here, get Raj on here. So I'm gonna bring this up a little bit more, change up the screen just a tad bit, see if I can do it. Bam, there we go. So, Jeff, Raj, man, what made y'all say June? I mean, what made y'all say that y'all want to do this Jubilee? Because I think this is a big thing. You had your Juneteenth event that I had the pleasure of being at. You had Mr. Mac Jr. there, where I got to talk to him for a good 30 minutes, running my mouth when I was only supposed to do 15. But what made you all decide to say, you know what, we about to do this for Black brewers and for Mr. Theodore Mac Sr. for the People's Beer? And I'm gonna start off with Raj, and then I'll kick it back to Jeff.
All right, so with me, man, we had the 50th anniversary of People's Beer last year, and the event was so dope. Just catapulted me into forward thinking. So I was like, man, how can we bounce back next year and, just have a even more dope event? So, I thought about it for maybe 2 weeks, and then it hit me. I was like, dude, let's do an event, but this time we're going to bring out more brewers and a little bit of inspiration from Juneteenth, but to reach out to other brewers across the United States, man, that was something I'd never done. So I was like, okay, let's go big or go home.
My bad, I was drinking. I couldn't switch over to Jeff in time, and I'm trying. Jeff, take it away.
For me, it's Raj came up with the idea. He presented it to us, and I thought it was an amazing idea. And it's something that needs to be done. Voices need to be heard. Stories need to be told. And I wanted to be here, support Raj and his vision, and just do whatever I can to help get that word out.
And so from there, and I'm gonna start off with you, Jeff, and I'm gonna take it down the line because we got a lot of people on, so I'm gonna keep it interactive with everybody. When it came to Brew Your Story, like who sat down and was like, you know what, we should make this concept where every brewer that participates, every black brewer that participates, or brewer in general, does a Brew Your Story segment. Like, where did that name come from? Excuse me.
I think it came from some artwork that Milton did, and then Becca and Raj. We were kind of just all talking about how we wanted this thing to roll out. And then I think Becca, Raj can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Becca was like, what if we put this on there on the sign? And then that kind of is how it took off with Brew Your Story, because she wanted it. Because I think the original artwork had said, I am a man. And she was like, well, we don't want to necessarily exclude women from this, right? Because there are African-American women in the brewing world. We want it basically gender neutral or all gender inclusive, however. So what about Brew Your Story? And so that kind of stuck from there. So all
right. And then we got Raj. So Raj, so we got Mario in the building. Mario, turn your camera around, man. You got to go horizontal, not vertical. Horizontal on this, man. Front facing camera, sir. Front facing camera.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. I'm gonna let you get right. I'm gonna remove you. Let you get right. So with Raj, when you start making these phone calls, man, like what was the response? What was the feeling, man? Like what was that whole just that journey, man, with getting this thing going before Saturday came around, because October's here, man.
Yeah, so there wasn't too many phone calls. A lot of it was done through social media and emails. My number one thing was just to put a filler out there to see who would be interested in paying tribute to Mr. Ted Mack Sr. Then I gave information on who he was, what he did. And with that being said, there was a few people that hit me back immediately. So in April of 2021, I just started a push of, okay, we got 80 some odd breweries, black-owned breweries in the United States. If we can get a third of them to participate in this endeavor, we're good. I expected at least 10 or 15, but we got about 34.
So, hold on. Don't let that go over your head. 34, though. Shout out.
Yeah. So as far as interacting with people through emails, you know how emails go. It's just straightforward. Yes, no, or I'll think about it. Send me more information. But once we started shooting out the media press kits, the premise of why we're doing it and how we want you to do it, people started falling in line. So we still have people that are jumping. Because I'm like, let's get it. If we got traction, we got action. Or if we got action, we got traction.
I like that. Yeah. I caught you on the right time because I accidentally muted your mic and it went silent for a minute, so my bad. So we're gonna jump over, man. I'm gonna just get it going, man. With I gotta talk to Brewing with Brothers, and I'm about to jump them on, put them, y'all can take your mics off on mute. Brewing with Brothers, man. Like, how do y'all feel literally going from we met each other. Hell, I think I just hit y'all up on IG. We did a damn IG live, and then all of a sudden, man, you up here brewing. Like, not only did you do Taplands, and I'm about to jump y'all on, switch y'all real quick, but not only did y'all do Taplands, and that was going crazy, and shout out to Taplands for holding it down that way, but then y'all link up with Hella Coastal, with Mr. Chaz and Mario and Manny. Shout out to the young Manny. And now you are literally brewing Oak Park Brewing Company. Like, just in this small time that we've literally talked to each other, like, how y'all feeling, man?
Crazy. At times it's, kind of lost for words, but we talk about it all the time. It's like, 2 years ago, there's no way, we would have thought we'd have been here. But, just this, the work, we put the work in, and like, we've been in the right places at the right times. I think it's, at some point in time you're gonna hit something. And I think we linked up, Mario from Hella Coastal tapped in, and just kind of low-key like being big brother, and that's like, I'm saying, through some of the stuff that they done been through, and like, kind of versing us on things like that as well. As Raj, when we got the time to meet up at the Juneteenth and stuff like that, and link up, and now we got to brew with you guys, you and Jeff. It's been dope, man. It's just been a dope experience, man. It's just we just gracious to be here.
Now Mario, I got to get you in here. Well, first let me do Manny, because Manny was here too. Manny, so I mean, your story. I mean, I don't know if you were actually brewing with Hella Coastal and Oak Park on this collaboration for the Jubilee or the Brew Your Story. But man, where is your mindset at when you see something like this? And I mean, you're talking about over 34 breweries. I don't know if this is your first time just hearing it like myself, but like, how do you feel that this collaboration is going from things that you've done previously? And I'm gonna throw it to Manny. Where you at, Manny? Talk about it.
This is exciting. It's really, really exciting. And, I'm, hearing Denzel and Bookie talking about, Mario being a big brother. It's, Mario consistently brings up the fact that, like, I was able to teach them something, but it's like other people taught me something, like Aram at Federation and so many other brewers, like Rob at Diving Dog, like Justin over at Ghost Town. Like, so many people have just been like instrumental in getting me there. But then it's amazing, like one of those things that you recognize is that, like, wait a minute, like these people don't like necessarily look like me, or like maybe like come from the same area, but they're willing to take a chance, and like, Jeff with like, everybody, at Oak Park, like it's similar. I'm seeing similar threads of that. And it's amazing to like, we've got almost, it's a kind of, I'm kind of like upset that there's only like 80, such a small amount of black breweries, but like the fact that we have almost half of them showing up to this, thanks to like Jeff and Raj's amazing work. It's like, it's pretty, it's like a great timeline from beginning when I got into this industry, and how I looked at it as like, wow, this is pretty much a white industry, to now, and being able to like work on these beers and expand our knowledge and expand, just the audience for all of it. It's pretty fantastic. And I don't know. I'm like amazed. I'm like in awe.
I like it, man.
And then I get to be a part of it too. Like, I'm so grateful.
That's a fact. And Saturday gonna be hot fire, man. I got a table covering looking real professional out here. I'm gonna post that in a minute. But Mario, we got to get to you, man. I don't know if Chaz is on this joint. Shout out to Chaz, man. But Mario, man, let's talk about it, man, because let's keep it 100, man. Like Hella Coastal, man. We were sitting down on Snow Park in Oakland, California, about a lake there. If you know about it, you know about it. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. But literally, man, from that to, I mean, we're talking about several different collaborations, but one of the things that I think is really key, man, it's like when it comes to Oak Park and Hella Coastal, it just seems like there's like a bond there that is definitely genuine, unique in the sense of how y'all just want to push the limits. And then on top of that, man, y'all just keep finding ways to introduce other people to one another. So how do you feel as a brewer, like just on the cusp of getting your own brick and mortar, but better yet, just the way you've built your community so far with everything that's happened with Oak Park and just with Hella Coastal in general?
Man, that was a lot, man. I would have to say, yeah, thank you so much. No, it's completely different. You know what I mean? In such an organic way that never really experienced it before in my previous career. So to be honored to work with Oak Park, work with Buki and Denzel, work with Manny, Jeff, Raj, and you. There's so many out there that it makes me realize that community is really, it gets diluted a bit. But once we got into the beer community, considering that there's not enough of us as far as when it comes to contrast, and knowing that there's a lot of us out there that started from either home brewing or just worked their way up within the on the production scale, either going from back in the house to becoming a brewer. It's just it's almost it's very surreal feeling. I think it's kind of gratifying to lose a lot of sleep, knowing that we're all growing together, and we're all having our own, like we're having this narrative that has the same goal of doing something where it exposes not only the inequities of what's going on in the brewing industry, but the things that need to be more equitable for people like us, and like Denzel, and like what Manny did. From us going from home brewing to going to the commercial scale, that's that each one teach one thing that we talk about all the time. I know that's a very imperative piece to just overall growth. That I don't know. Once you feel like you welcome somewhere, and you see other like-minded people that have the same goal, then that motivation it becomes fire. It just becomes like this whole other energy, and you want to see other people win when you win. There's that's it's something that I'm really grateful for, and able to be here with you guys, all you guys. It's just
hey, that's good. That's good. That's a good emotion right there. You give me a lot of notes I can clip right here and take it in. But I'm gonna get to a question, and I'm gonna throw this to Raj first, and I'm gonna drop it down to Jeff. You know what I mean? Because I definitely want this question. When Mario just mentioned that whole each one teach one, and that community, when it comes to just Black people, just being in the brew world, or just any type of world where it's predominantly white and Black people look at it like that's not for us, or we can't achieve that. Like, what does it mean to you when you sit down and say, we're going to do this Jubilee, brew your story? And like, what do you want this to become? Because I know this is just the beginning, and it's not just the beginning. I mean, the beginning of Brew Your Story with the Jubilee, but you've been doing multiple things in Sacramento and the community. But I really want to know, like, how do you see this? What is the vision for Brew Your Story? Oh, hold on, you're on mute. My bad.
Okay, sorry about that. So the vision's big. It's like I have the vision. All the pieces of the puzzle will fall into place. So if I have a vision, I don't worry about all those other things, because I know it's going to happen. If I think about it for a long time, eventually it's going to happen. But for the People's Harvest Time Jubilee, Brew Your Story, the long-term vision, it's always pay tribute to the past, present, and the future. Educate, create, have fun. People are talking about equity, inclusion and things like that. It's doable, man. It's like if everybody gets on the same accord and they're truthful and their intentions are, and genuine, I think we can accomplish anything. So with this, it's just a day in the life of Raj and his brain. I'm always, there's always something rolling around in my head. And, like I said, when we were doing the 50th anniversary gig last year, like my mind was already going forward. Okay, what does this look like next year? What can we improve upon? It's like, how can we get more people involved? And yeah, man. So there's no method to the madness. It comes, it comes.
Hey,
I just rock with it.
I love that, man. And I'm gonna throw it to Jeff off of that statement. Now, Jeff, make sure your mic is off mute, by the way. But so when you're working and collaborating with your teammate, who y'all been in the trenches. I mean, you're talking about CIP and tanks, cleaning drains, all these type of things. But for you as an owner of a brewery, like when you're sitting, because one of the posts that you put on social media, you were in a meeting and you had said, "Hey, Blacks brew beer," like just like 1%, like just 1% of just this group. Like, what is that? What is your as a and let's just be honest, as a white man, when people look at you as a person, and being a brewery owner, and not necessarily you don't have a full-on beer, so you don't fit that stereotypical role, but what is it for you that you want to accomplish with doing these things? Because I mean, having the people's beer as a part of the repertoire of Oak Park Brewing Company, but more so this long-standing, just constant push to make sure that people who don't look like you are being represented at your brewery at all times. What are you wanting to accomplish, or what do you want to set for Oak Park Brewing Company?
You know, when we opened Oak Park, our big focus was obviously the community of Oak Park, right? And you know, I know it's had its ups and downs, and it's going through a little bit of gentrification right now. But I mean, ultimately, the community of Oak Park is very diverse. The community of Sacramento in general, I would say, is probably in the top 10 most diverse cities in the state. When you look at, you know, you have a very high Eastern European population, Asian population, Black population, you know, Latino population. So it's a very diverse area. And for me, we got into it wanting to represent our community and be there for our community and provide a safe place for our community where everyone felt welcome. They felt like they had a place to come learn about beer, try different beers. And, you know, that's our community, and that's who we are. We're about our community. We're about being inclusive and being there for everyone, regardless of skin color, gender, religious beliefs, or anything like that. We're people. We're good people. We want good people there, and we just want people to come and have fun and enjoy beer.
I like that, Jeff. The simple life, right?
Yeah, just be a good person, treat people well, and have fun and enjoy it. Drink some beer along the way, and yeah.
And speaking of beer, that's a great segue into what I want to talk about, the individual collaborations. And first, I got to start off, of course, with Oak Park Brewing Company. The beer that you all are making for the Brew Your Story or the Jubilee. What is that beer? What inspired you to make this beer? And then what do you want people to take away from that beer when they're sitting down and having a pint? Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, Rod, you want to handle that one?
Okay. Go ahead. Toss it to Rod. I like how you did that. But look at that. The alley-oop.
Okay, so with our beer, you know, I was just busy. Jeff was busy. So we were like, when it came down to it, Jeff was like, hey, Raj, we're brewing a red. We're brewing a red for the People's Harvest Time Jubilee Brew Your Story. So it's known. Reds are one of my favorite styles of beer. We did an Imperial Red, which I haven't seen. I've seen Imperial Red IPAs, but I haven't seen an Imperial Red Ale. But, you know, it was just something we did. It tastes amazing. We added some oats to it to give it a little bit of slickness. You know, we thought about dry hopping, and we were like, no, let's see what it looks like first. But it's a good selection because, you know, it's all about blood, sweat, and beers, right? You know, we're putting in that work. So a red ale made sense. And yeah, man, it's like going back, and I gotta share this with you guys. So Mr. Ron Cook, he used to furnish me with a lot of information on beer, going all the way back to Mesopotamia, yada yada yada. And of course, we all know that the women were brewing all of the beers, but there's a fact in the information that he sent. A lot of the beers that they were producing were red ales, and that was tribute to the menstrual cycle. You know, it's just like cleansing your body and reproduction. So he dropped that knowledge on me, and I was like, wow, I never knew.
That's crazy, man. So how do you? So by knowing that, because I mean, now you segued into another great question. Like by knowing that, what do you think that because red ales are one of your favorite types of beers to produce? What do you think that significance is for yourself and that connection that you like in red ales?
I just like the maltiness. You know, it's like when you get into the Imperial Red IPAs, I just like that hop balance and that maltiness. You know, and that alcohol really doesn't shine through. So you can kick back, sip on it. Next thing you know, you're like, yeah, I'm in the red zone. I'm in the red zone.
Literally.
You know, so, but yeah, it's all about blood, sweat, and beers. You know, it makes sense. And I got to share this with you guys. So Becca hit me up. She was like, hey, what do you guys want to call this beer? And I was like, man, just call it the Oak Park Imperial Red Ale. She was like, no, I need a name, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, give me a couple hours, I'll hit you back. So I was at home, getting ready to lay down, go to sleep. And I was like, let's call it the griot. Let's tie it in to what we're doing. I don't know if you guys know what a griot is.
Talk about it.
Griot is a storyteller. So it's an African storyteller. So he was the guy that would tell all of the history orally, you know, to all the new kids that are coming up and the young adults. So I was like, okay, we're telling a story. We're going to call this one the griot. So that's the story behind the OPB Imperial Red Ale.
All right. Well, I'm gonna jump over and I'm gonna bring up Boogie and Denzel. Like, man, I had y'all beer already, so I know when y'all decided to make this one, I was like, oh, it's a no-brainer, man. That triple Belgian is fire, hands down. But what was the thought process with this triple Belgian? First of all, talk to people about it, why you wanted to produce this one, why you came up with it, because I think that triple Belgian is probably one of the best Belgians I had that has some type of fruit flavor to it, but not overpowering. And I think that was a good, just a good blending of what it is that your vision was.
Yeah, appreciate it. So yeah, that's like basically our flagship beer. That's our first beer that we really was super confident about. We got into loving craft beer in general, just off of Belgian style beers. So from particularly from the brewery that was underneath my college in Hawaii, Gordon Beers. So just kind of running off that and trying to figure out the best way to kind of get our narrative out there. We like dark beers, or more particularly me, and then I kind of moved my brother over to that side as well. Trying to figure out because I've had Belgian triples before too, and those are always awesome beers as well. But trying to figure out all right, how can we put our own spin on this? And we're like, all right, well maybe we can kind of do something to kind of turn that beer kind of dark, and then just kind of push our our niche kind of there. Just because we're kind of inclined towards dark beers. We love all styles and everything like that, but we just feel that dark beers don't get the love that they deserve.
That's a fact. Shout out to the stouts.
And we've been, working to try to figure out what can be the most palatable for people, what can be something that'll taste good for everybody, even if they say they're not a dark beer person. So, just trying to figure out how to manipulate and that recipe and get it to blend well with with our ingredients and everything like that. And this is kind of what we ended up with, the Black Belgian Triple. And it's always evolving and whatnot. We never want to settle on one particular recipe. Once again, something might come around, a new strain of yeast or something like that. Nowadays a lot of folks like Berkeley Labs and stuff like that, they keep coming out with new strains of new yeast and everything like that. So we're going to continuously evolve and hopefully that beer kind of evolves with us. But it's something we wanted to stick around and we wanted to introduce to the people. So that's why we kind of decided to do that for the Brew Your Story.
Man, and before I move on to Helicoastal, the squad of Helicoastal, I love how y'all just mentioned Berkeley Labs and talk about yeast, because I think a lot of people that are becoming familiar with craft beer or are on the hype of the IPAs, which again on the West Coast is and also the East Coast of New England, IPAs, IPA is king out here in the United States. But what about understanding that yeast are really communicating with Berkeley Labs? Because Berkeley Labs is not known as much as say Omega Yeast. And shout out to my episode I did with Omega Yeast. Check it out on the YouTube channel for sure. But what type of relationship are you building with Berkeley Labs, and what are you seeing for the future of the yeast strands that they're coming up with?
Yeah, I mean, for us personally, we're just open to any and all new creations and whatnot. We get a lot of our information and kind of new ideas from our local home brew shop too. We always try to learn from anybody who's presenting information to us, and there are the ones that kind of introduced us to them, and and said, hey, you guys should check them out. They're continuously, kind of crossing strains and coming up with new strains. Jim, Omega Yeast, all them trying to putting in that work to try to help the brewers out and obviously, kind of push their business and whatnot too. But it's really exciting, because we're always, as brewers, we're always looking for the next thing. We're always looking for the next thing, so, we apply to any maltster, any, yeaster, any, hopster that can come up with something new for us to play with and expand our repertoire,
I appreciate it. So I'm going to kick it off to Chaz, man. Chaz, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get to talk much, you know what I mean? You always in the wind with your 9 to 5 and then you up here hitting this brew life. But I really got to know from, you know what I mean? I really got to know from you, man, like what the style that y'all decided to brew with Oak Park Brewing Company and why you decided that. And then also, man, just your journey as a brewer, man, because you weren't on here when Mario was talking about the humble beginnings to where y'all at now with multiple collabs. I mean, sometimes y'all dropping 2 or 3 collabs within 2 weeks apart from each other. Look at that.
Humble beginnings, right?
Come on, man, humble beginnings. But like, so talk about the beer that you are producing with that you produce with Oak Park.
Yeah.
And then why y'all wanted to do that one, and then also just talk about just how you see the journey of Hella Coastal so far and just the vision moving forward.
And D-Neil with the 2-part questions.
That's right, man. You know I got to do it. Gotta let you talk, man. Gotta let you talk.
It was that perfect segue too, because hold on, let me flip it this way.
Got you.
There we go. It was that perfect segue too, because talk about that Omega yeast. One yeast that we brewed this beer with was the Omega Lutra, which you can do like a seltzer, you can do a riff on a pilsner or a lager style beer. So it's an extremely like clean fermenting yeast where the hops and the malt can all shine through. So for this beer, what we were aiming for was a cold IPA, and that style is basically brewed with pilsner malt, rice to kind of lighten the body up, lager yeast, and it's supposed to lager for like 3 to 4 weeks. But what we did was use that Omega Lutra yeast to try to do like a riff on that style. And yeah, we were tasting it today, carved it up yesterday, and it's tasting pretty delicious, so we can't wait to, pour it out for folks. There's still some tweaks we got to do with it, which we talked about, but I think everybody's going to enjoy it out there in Oak Park.
Sacktown, what up?
Exactly. And yeah, the way we started, man, like I'm sure Mario said, was, home brewing, right here in the backyard, with the cooler hookup, what I'm saying, and taking that to the next level, and adding pumps and whatever we can, like to boil off, so we're not using pots and pans, and trying to step our game up and make life easier. Our backs be hurting and everything, so let the technology do the work. But the whole ultimate goal was to eventually have our own brewery, and diverse the industry one beer at a time. So that's what we're doing, and we've been getting back in the lab. Mario brewed up at his house last weekend. I did the same over here. It's like got to get back to basics and get back in the lab and start creating. And Manny, Mario, and I were at Federation, and we did our 1 barrel batch over there last weekend as well. I think it was last Sunday, so 2 Sundays ago. And that's the beauty of this strain of yeast, is that like from grain to fucking glass, it's been 10 days, I think, like done. We could have left it for like 2 more days, but we gotta be in time for the harvest time, Jubilee.
That's a fact.
Pick the fruit on time,
Come on, man. Talk about it, man. Talk about that being consistent. All right.
Yeah,
I respect it. I appreciate you. Hey, but I'm before I start talking about the beer that I got so graciously from Raj, yo, You want to brew a beer? Hell yeah, I want to brew. What the hell are you talking about? Let's get it. But anyway, I'm gonna jump over to Mario. Mario, man. I mean, not Mario. I'm gonna jump over to Manny. I already talked to Mario. I ain't talking to you right now, Mario. Manny.
Hey.
Manny, man. Being a now, are you officially? I mean, is the Beer Talk Now first? Are you officially a team member of Hella Coastal Brewing Company? Like, what is the title that they've given you? And like, were you there for brewing the beer at Oak Park?
Yeah, we actually didn't, like Chaz said, we actually didn't get to brew this batch at Oak Park, unfortunately.
At Park?
We brewed it at Federation.
That's what it was.
So we brewed a 1-barrel batch over at Federation. I was there. I was all sweaty, getting that down and dirty.
Hitting it, you know what I mean? Getting it in.
Yeah. And we carved it up. Yeah, we were literally tasting it like hours ago. And if you like, really light IPAs, like good orange creamsicleness, it'll be there.
I like it. But I'm gonna jump now. I get to throw myself on there. Thanks, Manny. You know what I mean? Welcome to the team, man. Welcome to that Bay Connected, Stay Connected, man. Shout out to Mitch, man. And again, for everybody watching, and then
explain that beer a little bit more, Manny.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, hit the like button.
No, Manny's so good at it. I feel like he's gotta throw that Manny swag on it one time.
What?
Talk about it before I jump onto myself, Manny, because this is the second time actually we get to showcase you, man. Like, when you do get a chance to work with Jeff and Raj, what style of beer do you think will just hit for not just Sacramento, for everybody who comes up to Oak Park and checks it out? What are you looking forward to doing that you either didn't get a chance to do or that you've done before, but it just didn't hit the palate the way you wanted to hit?
Honestly, the Theodore Mack beer, the People's beer, I'd want, like, the lager just came out so fantastic. I wear that sweater all the time, and I tell people about that beer all the time because it's one of the best lagers I've ever had. So doing something like that, which I haven't got to do a lot of, would be really, really great. Yeah.
You heard it, Jeff. You heard it first. You heard what that man said? I'm about to take Jeff off of mute, and Raj too. Y'all heard? Hold on, take you off of mute. You heard what he said, right? Y'all ready for that?
Absolutely, man. We can lager as long as we need to.
So fact. All right. Well, Manny, I appreciate it, but I'm putting you back on mute now, and I'm throwing myself in here because I'm being selfish right now. It's time to be selfish. Jeff, Raj, you are both not on mute, so you can chime in at any point in time. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to answer the question about the beer for myself. I'm getting Jeff in here first. Then I'm going to throw Raj in. Jeff, let's talk about it, man. Talk to the community about this old fashioned. Like, what does the old fashioned mean to you? Look at me, man. I'm throwing all the responsibility on you right now.
You are. It's your beer, man. No. So, like, I know we had talked about doing like a strong imperial. And one day Raj is like, hey, I was talking to Daryl, and he was like, let's do this old fashioned beer. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like, I'd never really heard of that being done before. So definitely excited to try it. For me, old fashions are all about the bourbon, like high quality bourbon. So you get that oaky vanilla and then that citrus, like ring rind around the top of the glass, and then just a little bit of bitters. So they're pretty clean. I've had some sweet ones, I've had some not sweet ones. So they're you let the bartender kind of put their own spin on it. So I'm excited to see how this one turns out when it's finally carbonated and ready to go. But I think we're pretty dang close to the ones we tried at like 50 the other day. So
I appreciate that, Jeff. Now I'm going to throw it to Raj and make him talk about it too. Raj, what talk about this, and then I get to run my mouth for just a quick minute because it's not about me, it's about y'all. The old fashioned, man. Like, I know we had yesterday. We were back and forth, man. And I gotta say one thing, man. Whatever you think your vision is when you want to make a beer, you really gotta let the experts like put their 2 cents in, and not only 2 cents but their experience. And Raj, I think one of the things you were talking about was just adding that simple syrup, not to overly sweeten it, but to get that sweetness and blend everything well. But what old fashioned to you, or just this brewing a beer with me? Look at this, man. I sound very conceited right now. But brewing a beer with me, man. Like, what do you foresee, man? What do you foresee for this old fashioned?
Man, I think it's going to do extremely well. And You know, I had my first old fashioned during COVID at Oak Park Brewing Company because I'm not a liquor guy, you know, and if I drink liquor, it's typically a cocktail, something sweet, you know, like a Long Island iced tea or Cape Cod. But when I tasted the old fashioned that the bartenders were making, man, they were really good. You know, so when you hit me up and you're like, man, let's do something like an old fashioned, I already knew what I was going to do for the base. You know, it's all about the base because there's no trouble. You know, if you got the base, the rest is easy. You know, but I had the direction on the base malt, the grain bill. As far as like the flavors, like when we were talking yesterday, trying to figure out what do we need, we need something else. We sit and talk about things like that, you know, and you know, so I'm glad that you were part of that, where we're sitting there bickering about, no, we need this, no, two more drops, Jeff, that was too many drops, you know. It's like just getting into the crooks and the geekiness, the dorky side of beer,
man.
You know, but we were all open because we want this beer to be really, really good. I've never heard of a old fashioned beer. So what we're working with right now, I think is going to be well received. 13%. You might have to put an ice cube in it.
Let's go, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
13% out here, man.
I think it's going to do well, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it is.
Y'all saw the Instagram post, man. Y'all saw the video. Like we put so much oats and grains in there, like overflowing. And I was a little nervous when Jeff was like, you know, you about 10%. I'm like, come on, damn it. Suds was 12.5. Kinky Suds, shout out Kinky Suds, shout out Denise, my co-host out there. She was 12.5. Don't let me down. Come on, Yeast, don't let me down. But it definitely was good. I think we were almost like literally just there. We really got the base going, and I love tasting the base. Like one thing that I really realize is like when you have to taste the non-carbonated aspect of your beer, like you really got to be like, all right, I know I'm going to get this sweetness because it's not carbonated, or even before we had the yeast really start to work and produce the alcohol, it's not. You have to think past that first initial taste. You got to really wait and see what other notes that you've gotten, and this is something where you might have to taste that base multiple times. And I will not lie to you, that thing, when it's not no yeast and it's just straight up just grains and oats, I'm talking, when I say pure sugar, it's like you really got to get past that. And I appreciate it. And that's just another thing, especially what Roger's talking about with that geeking out aspect. When you are able to go back and forth with people about something that you're creating, and you are like, man, we want to get it to a point to where it's palatable for everyone. But on top of that, we still want it to be originally us or originally whoever's brewing that beer. It is definitely something that, again, you have to be open and willing for that collaboration to happen. So I do appreciate that from you two, man. And I'm looking forward to it, man. Hint, hint, Imperial Stout on the way. Don't worry. It's going to be on time. You know what I mean? I couldn't take Infinite Stout season because Chaz and Mario took the damn name. So, you know, it's coming up. You know, I'm not going to say what it is yet. I'll let y'all see when the time comes. But let's jump back in to talking about individual cities. And I'm going to start off with Brewing with Brothers, man. Like, honestly, y'all coming out of EPA, man. A lot of people don't know about the EPA, man. They don't know what's up about EPA. But what is it that you want to do for EPA by being, I don't know if that's the first Black-owned brewery. I don't know if that is it's just, you know, what's going on. But what do you want to do for the city of EPA, East Palo Alto, to really showcase this beer? Like, why is being a brewery in EPA important to y'all? And what is it that you want to bring to the city, that to the people who may or may not be so into craft beer?
Oh, for sure. So East Palo Alto, it's like low-key, it used to be the hood. So like there wasn't a whole, we've never even had like, we just like recently had, you know, like establishments like, you know, Firehouse and stuff like that, that would even have like beer, like in like, there's like a little shopping center that we have around here. That, you know, a couple years ago that they, you know, had some beers, but, you know, run-of-the-mill beers, they didn't brew beer. So like just even having that was just like cool. Like we can go get a beer in our city, like aside from the liquor store. and like sit and chill, you know. So like, you know, just kind of changing, like for us, like there's never been a brewery here, so just kind of changing the dynamic and just kind of changing the conversation of like what beer is and like what craft beer is, and like, you know, it was a learning curve for us as well. There's a lot of trying, a lot of tasting, learning what you like, what you don't like, but everybody's palate is different. Ours have grown for sure.
Everybody's here is used to, you know, Modelo's,
Yeah,
40s,
run it of the mill, you know. And I mean, when you talk about beer, it's like it doesn't have like the same prestige as wine, like, you know what I'm saying. So like we here to change, like, you know what I'm saying, we here to change that, add a little color to the conversation, you know, literally, figuratively, and you know,
I like that.
Like, you know what I'm saying, just really like kind of like put on for like our city and just have a cool place for everybody to come have a conversation. I mean, that might lead to us having some open mic nights, you know what I'm saying, presenting some other talents in our city. And, you know, we got taco trucks and food, you know what I'm saying. It's like, it's bigger than us. It's kind of bigger than us. Like, you know, we just want to be that platform. So that way we can get that out there for our city. It's a lot of talent out here. So we just really trying to, you know, showcase that.
Man, I respect that, man. That was a real California, you know, Northern California answer right there, and I respect that right there. You better know about the EPA. Stop playing with you.
Look, cause we here, bro, with brothers, man.
I see the logo, nice, man. I like it. So I'm gonna jump over. I'm gonna jump over to Chaz, Mario, and Manny. I can't get all three of them on the same screen at one time, so I'm gonna go back to Chaz because he ain't talked a lot. Chaz, man, hey, get yourself off of mute. What, like, I'm gonna take you off mute because I got you on mute. I put you back on mute again.
Hey, you know.
And then I'm gonna take Mario off mute too, and Manny, because like I can't get all three of y'all on the screen at one time. At least I don't know how to do that at the moment, but we will get better. Don't worry about it. Manny, take yourself off of mute, damn it. Chaz, what is it that you want to do for the city of Oakland, California, man? Like, you know, talk town business. What are you doing as Hella Coastal for the city of Oakland, California? What is it, man? Talk about it.
You know, what that's a big question. But what we're trying to do, man, is you know, we haven't had a place, you know, in Oakland. I mean, I will say, you know, things have changed lately, but in the beginning of it, it was about creating a space where we could all, you know, feel comfortable, sip some beer, have a good time, you know. And when we would walk into like some breweries out here, we didn't have that experience, you know. So we're home brewing, you know, trying to like change the narrative, you know. We know what our parents grew up on, what they drank, you know, and we're like, but we really like this craft beer, you know, and how do we make this, you know? So that's kind of how it started. And it's also about diversifying that palate, you know, like once you expose people to something that's quality and something that's different, you know, they might be into liquor, you know, and might want to drink a certain thing in the town, but it's a different experience when you're drinking some craft beer, you know. I mean, I feel me personally when I experience, you know, a buzz from alcohol, you know, I have a better experience when it's craft beer versus malt liquor versus it's coming from you know, straight up liquor, Henny, tequila, whatever, you know. So and then the whole vibe at a brewery is different than it is at a bar, you know. So we're trying to create that space that first of all we want to kick it at, and where people like us want to feel comfortable and have a good time and kick it at, you know. But I'll let the rest of the crew finish my thoughts for me.
Yeah, just echoing what Chaz is saying, and I mean even more with Brewing with Brothers. Like, this is bigger than us. Like, it's about not just us in the present moment, but like, you know, Mario is consistently talking like about, like, you know, for their kids, for the, you know, building a legacy for something like to build a future on, and, you know, generational growth, you know, and keep that going. And I feel like it's one of those funny things that like Chaz and I happen to, you know, meet each other at my old working spot at Diving Dog, like, and we just happen to talk about beers, you know, just because we were both in the corner and said, hey, what are you sipping on? Oh, what do you, or like I heard something and it's like, you want to be in a space where everyone is open and okay and knows that like you're not going to be like offended or like, you know, weirdly offended. I don't, sorry, whatever. But you just know you're going to walk into a comfortable conversation. You know, that's what it comes down to. And it's, you know, I think it speaks to what Chaz and Mario are doing, and, you know, allowing me to join and be their brewer. And, you know, I mean, it's not going to just be me. It's going to be Chaz and Mario too. So that's kind of the goal, is like the idea of, again, not diversifying just pallets and beers, but production and ownership in craft beer.
Oh, man, well said, Manny. Look at you taking the lead right there. Mario, talk about it.
No, I mean, he took Chaz and Manny. They both took a lot of the sentiments of what it is that we're really doing it for. You know, it's like you know, creating that space, you know, creating that generational wealth, really setting that bar for something that we never really had an opportunity to have, only because of things that happened a long time ago, which didn't give us the ability to really have that type of ownership, especially when it comes to something that's majorly owned by, you know, by the stereotypical, you know, all those stereotypical white guy
with the beard,
you know, and with the beard and the fedora and the gut, you know.
Shout out to the guts, man.
But you know, it's this, you know, there's one thing that when you start having this energy or this perpetual movement in a direction, and like what Buki and Denzel are doing in EPA and what they're doing for their city, considering that they're born and raised, you know, I'm not sure born and raised. I mean, we got born and raised there.
They're shaking their head like, yep, you better respect it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that foundation, like they got the foundation is set ever since they were embryos. You know what I mean? That they want to have something that they can actually do that for their, you know, for their kids and for their family. You know, it's like they want to have that same energy, and we want to have that energy in Oakland, just like Oak Park is having that energy in Sacramento and Oak Park, considering like there's a lot going on with gentrification. But you know, really the whole focus is to make sure that, at least for us, you know, that narrative of breaking us off from what the stereotypical beer drinker is, especially where we come from. It's all about malt liquor. It's all about these subpar, not even subpar, under par ingredients. You know, something that's really quick to drink, but when you have something that, especially when you got content or you got something behind it, especially when it's coming from people that's from your city, then people will be more motivated to support you. And that's the whole thing that we want, all of us want, that, you know, to change that narrative of what it means to enjoy something that people see beer. Like, you know, what Denzel was saying about, you know, what someone's idea of what malt liquor, I think he was saying like what malt liquor, a drinker, you know, somebody will be in their comfort zone and like, oh, I just want to gravitate, you know, to that. But it's really about getting that quality ingredients, and we all have that same mentality of like wanting quality ingredients. And it's been like that for so long that we don't, you know, like, why did it take this long? You know, like people try to do it before us, but then they just didn't have that same success, only because there wasn't the same support, at least at that time, where they weren't able to flourish. But now it's like we're at this point in time where, you know, everyone is starting to realize like, hey, this ain't right. You know, this shit ain't right. And there's a lot of people that want great shit. You know, they want to drink great shit. They want to experience great things.
Drink great liquid.
Yes, yeah, not shit, but you know what I mean. It's really just to have those same experiences that we've had at most craft beer spots. And it won't be the actual brewery itself, but sometimes it will be the reactions that we get from some of the people that actually are customers to those spots that where we felt like we just didn't belong. So we want to, break all those barriers down, have people be welcome no matter what. Like what Jeff was saying about no matter the color, no matter what, whatever your sexual preference, religious background, you just want to go there, you want to have a good time, and all that other is out the door. At least have people leave any of our spots knowing something a little bit more than when they came in.
Facts, man. Hey,
it won't sound like I'm rambling or nothing.
Nah. You were trying to get all that emotional stuff off. No, I'm just joking. You were trying to get that real talk off your chest. You did. I appreciate it. I'm gonna leave it, man, to Raj, and I'm gonna leave it to Jeff, man, to end it off for us, because we definitely almost at that hour mark. But October 2nd, 2021, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if we live streaming that or not, but who knows? Jeff, Raj, man, what y'all want to tell the people, man? I'm starting with Raj. What you want to tell the people before you get out of here, Raj?
Hey, man, this is a international endeavor. If you can't be in Oak Park, go to brewyourstory.com and check out the breweries that are participating. There might be one near you. Spread the word, man. I'm looking forward to Saturday, October 2nd, just to rock with you guys. And, the community's going to come out. Hopefully you guys can bring your community members. And we're just going to celebrate, man. Mr. Mac Jr. is going to be in the house. He's actually arriving tomorrow.
Nice.
So he's going to be in the house. It's going to be a pleasure to sit down and chop it up with him and just to see where we've come in the past year. But overall, man, it's just paying homage to the ancestor this year. So I'm excited about it, man. I know we've put a lot of energy, time, and effort into it. And I'll say it like this: I'm fucking tired. But
you're not done yet. You're not done yet.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to October the 3rd when I can not have to wake up to be anywhere. But with that being
October
said,
the 4th, where you got to get it in, man, for that Blacktoberfest. You know what's going on.
Yeah. So I got to shout out the other two members of our team, Mama Drinking Beer, aka Becca, and Brittany Claypool, aka Her World.
Shout out to them, for real.
They're the second legs of this team, man, and it takes a team to make the dream happen, right?
That's a fact.
So man, it's not about me. It's not about us. It's bigger than us. And I gotta say, D-Neil, real quick, I like the diversity on this platform, but where the women at?
And that's a fact, man. That's a fact. Raj, that's what I'm talking about. Accountability. That's what we do out here when it's real. We need to hold each other accountable. I definitely will have not even just an all women panel, because I don't like necessarily separating men and women. I know a lot of people do that, but I definitely will get more women on this panel. I do want to do an all women's panel because I do want to get deep into the conversation of how just women are perceived in the world in general, but especially when it comes to entrepreneurship and when it comes to just entrepreneurship, ownership, and then also just business in general. So I appreciate that, Rob, and I will hold myself accountable and get more women on the platform, because that's a fact. Shout out Kinky Sud. Shout out Mama Brewing Beer. Shout out to Her World. Shout out to Black Beer Chick. Shout out to Afro Beer Chick. Shout out to the Brewing Chicago, Black Brew Chicago. Man, can I keep going? Shout out to Spaceway. Shout out to God damn it! Shout out to Lady Justice Brewing Company. Man, I can keep going on and on. Man, we're gonna make it happen. Jeff, anything you gotta say before we get the hell off of here?
No, I'm just looking forward to hanging out with you guys on Saturday. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm looking forward to trying all these beers and getting to know you guys better as people. A lot of times we get caught up in work and don't have a lot of time to socialize. So definitely looking forward to hanging out and chilling and having some beers, and looking forward to continuing to push the progress of diversity in the beer industry. And I think my vision for Sacramento is basically I want it to be kind of the city that takes the first step forward and really pushes it, since, you know, it's my hometown. I would like to see, you know, obviously Raj's help, Becca's help, Brittany's help, like Oak Park kind of taking the forefront for Sacramento and pushing the diversity and inclusion initiative in Sacramento and really running with it, providing safe opportunities, safe hangout spots, and just a fun place for people to chill and have a good time and talk over beers, because that's what life's about.
That's a fact. I like how you ended that, Jeff. That was a good one. Again, you watching this on the replay, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and then also, come on, let's be honest. Leave some comments and let's talk about some constructive criticism out here, because we always got to get 1% better every day. And that's all we got to worry about, because the only person you can control is yourself. Man, shout out to everybody out here, man. I mean, you got Brewing with Brothers, you got Hella Coastal, you got Oak Park Brewing Company. Shout out Mr. Mac Jr. Hope when I see you on Saturday, can't wait to sit down and have a beer with you. And man, again, 13% ABV. That's where we're at, okay, with that good old fashioned strong ale. Shout out to Brick Terraria and Beer Hut. I got one, Brick. I got one. It's been another episode of Beer Talk Now. I'm drinking beer. You know, that Infinite Stout season. What are you drinking? And I'll catch you on the next episode of Beer Talk Now. Cheers.